Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the belly our parents. It's time to rise, don't get weary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise to Yah.
Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Nothing like this.
Stage Screen Radio.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. How you doing? How you doing?
Yes. Peace and greetings to all you wonderful people around the world, to all my positive, righteous brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Network of Awareness live broadcast for Wisdom Wednesdays. Yes, playing a little bit of Ridiculous in the background. Today is May 25th. It is approximately 7:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the Tampa Bay area, baby. And we got a great show tonight. Episode 8 of Season 4 called Low Frequency Language. Got to give a shout outs to Queen Letta for coming up with the good title for today's show. Got to give props where props is due, right? So with that being said, brothers and sisters, welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. And tonight, we're going to have a thought-provoking show. Nothing too serious. We'll discuss some things, maybe even play a couple of clips from the Smoke and Mirrors media. But welcome if you get to join this live broadcast. Want to give a shout outs to all the people that support the Network of Awareness on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. All the people that support on LinkedIn. All the people that support through networkofawareness.com. And to support all the podcasters on the network. And coming soon, put out a little new splash video of the Network of Awareness.tv today. I shared that on social media. I hope y'all like it. And just moving forward, all praise to the Most High. Because without the Most High, none of this is possible. Everything that gets compelled within the spirit is led spiritually. And we are just the vessels of something far greater. And I'm so grateful to be a part of something that's meaningful. So with that being said, I'm going to start the show out with a nice little introduction song that'll set the tone for the theme of tonight's show.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
It all goes left before it goes right, but that's life, so you know how it goes, right? Tell you I done been through the mud and the dark nights. Always had a flow, but I've been through the bar fights. Not a big dog, but I got a big bite. Always been fly, I've been known to take flight. Learned all my lessons, never make mistakes twice. Never dim my shine, cause I've always been bright. Always been nice with the hands, so I know how to break a nigga down. Just in case a nigga come around, I'm ready. Once you get a nigga mental in that zone, I'm deadly. That's why I prefer to be left alone. You can't really tame a beast that is meant to roam feast. As long as my heart beats like a metronome. Graduated from the streets with a cap and gown. Even I know what goes up will come crashing down. Down, down, it all comes. Down, 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 it all comes. Down, 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 it goes all the way. It goes all the way. It goes all the way. Crashing down, crashing down.
Have you hated or ever been hated on? Watch how I debate this while I go and play the song. Am I wrong or am I right? While I'm writing, see it was written. Ha, I knock him out like I was Tyson. Ain't no tie, son, I've been down. See, I've been spitting for a minute. I am different, I'm the one. They say I'm gifted. I just want the big money to go and match the lyrics.
Breaking news.
And then you crash, burn, feeling like life cheated you from your last turn. Feeling like I was a bad sperm from the ex, bugging with the heat, yeah, mash burn. They notice the way I talk. I think they really hate me cause they know I'm from New York. I adolescent and caught. I swear I made it a sport. A Bronx nigga for sure. Spiraling down, I fuck out of here.
Down, down, it all comes. Down, 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 it all comes. Down, 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 it goes all the way. It goes all the way. It goes all the way. Crashing down, crashing down.
So welcome back to the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. And today's episode, low frequency language. And we're going to discuss that. But I also want to talk about some other stuff today, too, because, you know, some of this recent stuff with these killings, right? We just had the one mass shooting in Buffalo. Now we got this one in Texas. This one in Texas is very interesting. And wanted to kind of cover that first before we dig into anything else. Because I did get to pull up some news clip, and it's from the nightly news from last night. And let me take a second to play some stuff here and see if we can. They're going to talk about it briefly, and then we'll go into the story. So let's check it out.
Tonight, the horrific shooting rampage at an elementary school in Texas. At least 18 children and 3 adults killed in the mass shooting, according to a state senator briefed by Texas Rangers. The images coming in, the massive police presence, the gunman identified as an 18-year-old killed by officers, and reports he shot his own grandmother before entering the school. Parents rushing to be reunited with the terrified children. President Biden addressing the nation tonight after ordering flags to half staff. Our team at the scene in Texas. What we're learning. A special edition of Nightly News starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly.
Now, keep in mind, they say he. Now, I'm not going to spill the beans yet, but it's interesting about who this person they're talking about. Now, here is another deadly shooting in a state like Texas, where guns are very prevalent. And now we have another school shooting, right? Which they've been pushing for purposes of gaining gun control and pretty much trying to strip guns, which is going to be almost impossible from the American public at large when it comes to the whole country as a whole. But I wanted to just stop here before we continue, because just in the last couple of months, there's been these mass shootings. And you've heard me talk about this on the show that I just recently did last week, called Disorderly Deviants, from the USA. Now here is another disorderly deviant. And this one is going to be interesting. Let's let it play out before we discuss it.
Those are the words of Texas Governor Greg Abbott tonight after one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. 18 children and 3 adults gunned down today at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, west of San Antonio. According to a state senator briefed by Texas Rangers, the gunman, 18 years old and described as a resident of the community, entered the school with a handgun and possibly a rifle. It appears he was killed by officers who responded to the shootings. President Biden addressed the nation a short time ago. More on his message in a moment. This comes just 10 days after the mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, in which 10 people were killed. One more horrific and stunning act of gun violence in a nation so weary from it. We begin tonight with Morgan Chesky in Texas.
Lester, every update that has come in today on this story has only brought more heartbreak to this tight-knit community of only about 15,000 people. Tonight, a massive law enforcement presence has descended on this small town, and it is converging on Robb Elementary School behind me, now covered up in crime scene tape as investigators scour this area for evidence and try to find what caused this 18-year-old gunman to go inside and open fire.
Not attempt to get closer, we got shots fired.
Tonight, at least 21 lives have been tragically cut short, according to Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who says he was briefed by Texas Rangers. And yet another school in America has become the scene of a mass shooting.
There are families who are in mourning right now, and the state of Texas is in mourning with them for the reality that these parents are not going to be able to pick up their children.
This time it happened in South Texas at Robb Elementary School for 2nd through 4th graders in Uvalde, about 80 miles west of San Antonio. At least 13 people were injured, according to a hospital official. 2 medevac to San Antonio, a woman in her 60s and a 10-year-old girl. Both are in critical condition.
We'll notify the parents and the families as soon as we have some news for them.
2 police officers were struck by rounds but are expected to survive. It all started at 11:32 this morning, where the shooter abandoned his vehicle, then entered the school with a handgun and possibly a rifle.
So I know you probably didn't get to hear that on the radio where they said female subject. Now, the reason why they're saying female subject, which they're probably not going to talk about in this segment, but this killer is a transgender. So it's a male that was, I guess, trying to change into a female. And what's interesting is that this is an elementary school. So it's like not even like this person went to their high school and did this. They went to an elementary school, which a lot of this will play out. But you've heard me talk about how a lot of these, and I've talked about it many of times, where we discuss the alphabet community and how a lot of them are straight cadets, space cadets, you know what I'm saying? And they don't have all the screws tightened up in the shack. There's a couple of loose screws. There's a couple of loose tools in the shack. And it leads for an unstable shack. So this is just another prime example, but I'm going to let it play out. Here we go.
According to the governor,
it is being reported that the subject shot his grandmother right before he went into the school.
Tonight, police say the gunman is dead. The governor naming him as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos from Uvalde. No word yet on his motive.
Let me assure you, the intruder is deceased, and we are not actively looking for another individual or any other suspects in this case.
Bobby Studer was at the school dropping off flowers for his wife, who was retiring Friday.
Now, I guess the Texas officers was like, the hell with what happened in Buffalo, New York. We're going to gun down this dude. Now, this person just happens to be a Latino. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or it could just be the fact that they don't want to be the other police force in question in regards to how they handled another mass shooter like they did in Buffalo, where they did a poor job because according to the narrative in the story that's out, which makes a lot of sense because he's still alive, is that they talked him out of submitting his gun and surrendering. So I guess Texas didn't want to take the same, course, which I figured that that's the course that should have took in Buffalo as well. But here we have 21 killed in Texas shooting. Now, they don't mention that he's a transgender, but he is, because even in his picture, he looks a little feminine. But let's let it continue.
When he heard gunshots,
her class and everybody that was around her got in the cafeteria and just kind of turned off the lights, got on the stage, started papering the windows. She said the kids were real good.
The last day of school here was supposed to be just days away. Instead, tonight, blood stains the sidewalk outside. And parents are gathering at this local civic center to be reunited with their children, left terrified.
My heart was broken today. We're a small community, and we'll need your prayers to get us through this.
Morgan, take us inside the scene on the ground right now. What's it like?
Lester, on one hand, it is a very active investigation here at the scene outside Robb Elementary, but about a quarter mile from where I'm standing, there's a civic center that's become a reunification site, and that has been the scene of so much incredible heartbreak today. Parents rushing there frantically, unsure if their child is still alive. And we're told at this hour there are still people potentially left waiting to hear word from authorities and not having any clarification on how the fate of their child is right now. In the meantime, authorities say they will be remaining here for the foreseeable future. Grief counselors will be made available to every student here in Uvalde who needs one starting tomorrow.
And I understand school officials have briefed the media a few times. What are they saying?
I think, Lester, what they're saying is the fact that this is a tragedy that hits harder than anything they've ever experienced in their lifetime. The superintendent earlier today in a press conference was almost at a loss for words. It was very brief in that they only acknowledged the incredible loss that they were enduring and frankly said they couldn't say any more other than pledging to be there for their staff and students in what will be an incredibly long road of recovery ahead. Lester.
All right, Morgan, thank you. A short time ago, law enforcement officials revealed more about the suspect who was killed in the aftermath. We want to go to Miguel Almaguer now. And Miguel, what more can you tell us about the suspect in this case?
Well, Lester, good evening. Investigators are just now pouring through Salvador Ramos's life. While motive is the big question tonight, it may be some time until we have that answer. Police believe at this point the 18-year-old suspect who had a birthday just last week acted alone when he carried out one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Tonight, State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who says he was briefed by Texas Rangers, tells NBC News the suspect bought 2 assault rifles on his birthday from a local gun store. At this hour, it's unclear if those weapons were used in the assault. Meantime, it's believed Ramos had social media accounts, which will be of high interest to detectives. A big part of their investigation will be combing through his digital footprint, looking for potential clues to the motive.
Listen, people, there's already pictures been shared on Instagram. So I already seen a couple of them. He's dressed as a woman, you know what I'm saying, wearing tight-ass dresses and all types of shit. This is the thing, people. Forget about the fact that here is a person that's obviously going through a hell of a lot, especially if they're trying to make a transformation from a male to a female, which we all know that that is really spiritually impossible and even physiologically impossible. But that's a story for another day. But isn't it interesting that somebody that comes from this particular background is killing all these people at an elementary school at that, where it's young kids? And a lot of this ain't going to make sense right away, but I'm pretty sure there's people within the truth community that are going to dissect this background story that's not being told in regards to how this all came to be. But it don't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, because once you start with the information that I have from somebody who hasn't even taken a deep interest, that just came and passed by my desk, so to speak, or brought to my attention, I'm looking at this like it makes a hell of a lot of sense that this is somebody that's obviously mentally disturbed, because a lot of those people with that particular background are mentally disturbed. So why is this person any different? And look at what they did. But they want to glorify these people. Now, you notice how the smoke and mirrors media right now has got the guy's picture up. And this picture is very androgynous, if you ask me. But with that being said, notice how they're not, when they're talking about the social media accounts, they already know what's on social media. It ain't hard. Social media is out there, right? We all know about that. But notice how they're not promoting it like they normally would on these types of networks, because they promote that type of behavior heavy, like it's the best thing since sliced bread. But here we go. This is why I tell you, smoke and mirrors media. And welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays, because this is what it is. In any other situation, if this person had a more cleaner record or background and didn't just slaughter 21 people and hurt others and do some crazy shit, there's a great possibility that they would be talking about this person in a whole different light and glorify the fact that they're part of the alphabet gang. But the fact that they just killed 10 people, they can't tarnish the abominable behavior of that which they glorify on a regular basis. So they're treading lightly and wisely, right? To keep their propaganda going. Let's continue.
Authorities believe the suspect, who again was killed during that police response, recently attended a local school. Tonight, detectives are working with the FBI to learn more about the teenage gunman, who they say was wearing body armor.
We're in the process of obtaining detailed.
And the motherfucker had body armor. Wasn't playing.
background information on the subject.
And you're going to see, like, even just the fact that they put it out there in the news like that, somebody that's not under some MK Ultra type of programming that just wants to be a copycat because they're that stupid, they're going to start using body armor. It's going to become like a religion or a code of conduct and a criteria to follow if you want to engage in this type of low frequency language, this low frequency language on multiple levels. But now you know what to do. Like, let's get body armor. Body armor wasn't a big thing back in the days. It's a few people had it, and that's it. And it was usually people that had some type of military background. But now any Tom, Dick, or Harry can order body armor on Amazon. You know what I mean? So just by them constantly saying it, now it's going to become the norm. Don't be surprised that future incidences like this, because there will be more, because this is what the United Americas of America serpents represents. Always has, always will.
His motive, the types of weapons used, the legal authority to possess them, and conduct a comprehensive crime scene investigation and reconstruction, and identify and interview all witnesses and provide victim services and other support as needed. The subject is reported to have been a student at Uvalde High School and is a U.S. citizen.
As reported, authorities believe the suspect was armed with a handgun and at least one rifle. They're still working to determine exactly which weapons were used. Authorities are going to work hand in hand with the ATF to determine those details as part of their bigger investigation. It's also unclear if Ramos had ever attended the local elementary school or how familiar he may have been with the campus layout. Lester.
All right, Miguel Almaguer, thank you. This deadly rampage in Texas comes as mass shootings are in fact on the rise nationwide. Gabe Gutierrez is here, and Gabe, this type of horror has become quite familiar to Americans.
Yeah, that's right, Lester. This is the deadliest school shooting in the U.S. since the Parkland rampage in February of 2018. As has become common now, there are already growing calls.
Are y'all seeing the themes? Are you seeing the propaganda machine? Damn, people, I'm having issues with my microphone here. Give me 1 second, man. I got to fix this. Let me take care of this. I'll be right back. All right. Much better. Much better. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters in the chat room. I see ya. Thank you for the support as always. And I hope this show is giving you some good substance, because we gotta, here in the Network of Awareness, we like to expose the lies so you can better understand the truth, right? That's what it's all about. And there's so many reasons why this is happening. And there's a reason why they go along with a certain narrative when describing this type of information. And let me get back to this. Let's bring it down. Okay, here we go. So just one thing I want to point out before I continue this is that you can see how they're pushing this agenda again. But remember what I said yesterday. 'Tis the season of the heathen. We are going to see a lot of erratic behavior because this is spiritual warfare. And there's a lot of lost souls out there. And the lost souls are playing their part. They're serving their purpose in this spiritual warfare that we're engaged in. That's why it's not easy to remain righteous. Because it's a lot easier to do wicked things in a society where wickedness is the norm.
Calls to stop gun violence, which has been especially brutal this year. Another crime scene, another earth-shattering act of violence, another mass shooting in America. This one at an elementary school full of 2nd through 4th graders.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a garage.
So this is where they're going to show the emotional responses from our senators and elected officials. Pour their hearts out, just like this idiot, where he's talking about what are we doing? And of course, he's probably one of these people that has pushed for several bills that bring about gun reform. So this is the horse and dog, or the dog and pony show that goes on all year round. And they only put on their best performances with situations like this. And some of them are already given a heads up so they can, prepare their bullshit speeches or whatever. And this is the type of stuff that happens. You'd be surprised how much all of this is interconnected. That's one thing I've learned throughout the years. In the last 20 years, I've learned that they want you to think that if you're somebody who connects the dots and start to realize that everything is connected, just like we're connected to the universe, it's no different than this draconian, demonic vortex or web of deceit. When you just start connecting the dots, you start seeing how everything is interconnected, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. And one of the narratives that they like to go with that is textbook when it comes to media distraction is guns, because they want to de-gun the American country or the American corporation known as the United States of America. They want everybody to give in their guns. And it's a never-ending battle. But these types of situations give them purpose to want to manipulate those that are deaf, dumb, and blind into agreeing to this type of bill and reform so that it can get passed.
Grocery store to gun down African American patrons. We have another Sandy Hook on our hands. What are we doing? There have been more mass shootings than days in the year.
Senator Chris Murphy represents Newtown, Connecticut, the somber site of its own elementary school massacre a decade ago. Fred Gutenberg's daughter was one of 17 students and staff killed in 2018 at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Are we going to watch more kids die, or are we going to do something?
Already this year, there have been more than 200 mass shootings, according to data from the Gun Violence Archive. And a new FBI report shows the number of active shooter incidents in the U.S. last year jumped more than 50% compared to the year before.
I wonder why.
The shooters increasingly choosing soft targets. Just days ago, 10 people were killed at a supermarket in Buffalo.
People, I want you to keep in mind, notice the language they're using, soft targets. That's the type of language that they use in the military. That's the type of language that a hitman would use, or somebody who's a killer. But it's interesting how the news media is using the same type of terminology, because in actuality, those are soft targets. The people that, this dude that they brought to Burger King that killed those people in the church, or supposedly killed them, right? Allegedly. Those were soft targets too. Pretty much any school shooting is a soft target shooting, right? To be exact. But it's just interesting. I just wanted to point that out, how they're using this type of language.
Their funeral still underway. In California, a gunman targeted a church. In the last 3 years, gunmen have opened fire at a kosher market in New Jersey, a Walmart in El Paso, and a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado. The statistics are clear, but what to do about them is not.
We are seeing way too many of these horrific mass murders, and we need to devote far more law enforcement resources to stopping violent criminals and preventing these kind of absolute acts of evil.
And Gabe, you and I have covered more of these than we care to even think about. What was it like to hear the numbers, to see the...
Now, also keep in mind, this is the very first segment of this show that covers many segments. But here we are halfway through a 20-minute segment, and we're 10 minutes over, and we're still talking about this. This is what they do. This is the smoke and mirror media at its best.
Those images again that are all too familiar.
Yeah, Lester, we were on the air earlier today when the governor first revealed that death toll, and it was just a gut punch. You know, you said it. How many of these shootings have we reported on over the last decade? And I think back to Columbine, you know, I was just a teenager then, but I remember how unbelievable it felt at the time, how tragic now that this has all become so common.
Yeah, the list continues to grow. All right, Gabe, thank you. Moments ago, President Biden once again addressing the horror of a mass shooting during his presidency. The president briefed about the shooting as he was traveling back from a trip to Asia. Kristen Welker is in Washington now with the latest.
Lester, an emotional President Biden assumed the role of consoler-in-chief yet again tonight, addressing the nation just moments ago.
The parents who will never see their child again, never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them.
Never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them. Yeah, I bet that's what you like to do with kids, right? Let's continue.
Parents will never be the same. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away.
That's just one of his famous lines.
There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it and never going to be able to get out. Suffocating. And it's never quite the same. So tonight, I ask the nation to pray for them. Give the parents and siblings the strength in the darkness they feel right now. As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done?
The president was briefed on the horrific events in Texas while traveling back from...
Oh, man, what a horse and dog and shitty show this is. Shitty-ass pony show. People, to all those that are listening, as you can see, they need something that makes sense in a time where nothing is making sense. Everything is just fucked up. I was saying this earlier today that it's going to be an interesting presidential race when it comes to all this bullshit that's been going on here in America and who's going to actually take over and who's going to be in the running of the race, you know? And this is coming soon, right? Because this dude's 4 years is almost up. So that's going to be an interesting time if we make it that far. But with all of the fucked up shit that's going on, as you can see with this, look at, like, they had over 212 people, and we're going into summertime now. We're going into summertime. Remember, I told you this is 'tis the season of the heathen. 212 shootings, and it's only been 6 months, and the 6th month is not even up. We're going into the 6th month. And by the way, as of June 9th, it's going to be the 2nd year anniversary of the Network of Awareness since I first started my first episode. So June 9th, we're going to do a little celebrating. Just to put it out there now that I remember. That was one of the updates I forgot to mention. So June 9th, put it on your calendar to all my network of Awarians and my brothers and sisters in this truth. June 9th will be officially the 2nd year anniversary of the Network of Awareness. All praise to the Most High for that. So let's continue with the segment, and we're going to continue to focus on this low frequency language that is being spoken these days. This is what I was talking about, people, where there's so many people that are lacking light, that you got an individual that was already fucked up in the head that's now gone out and shot 21 people in an elementary school of 2nd to 4th graders, man. That's insane. What type of person does that? A savage, a heathen, a person who lacks light, a person that has to take all types of drugs just to stay or synthetically into a certain mold of agenda. That type of person. Let's continue.
Asia on Air Force One and spoke to Governor Abbott. Just last week, President Biden visited a grieving community in Buffalo, New York, after 10 people were killed in that racist shooting attack against a predominantly black community. While there, he renewed calls for an assault weapons ban. He also visited Atlanta last year in the wake of a mass shooting targeting the Asian American community there. And of course, President Biden was serving as vice president under former President Obama when 20 elementary school children and 6 teachers were killed in the Sandy Hook massacre. Congress tried to pass expanded background checks, but failed to get enough support from Republicans and moderate Democrats as the debate over how to prevent these atrocities plays out after every mass shooting. At the White House tonight, the flags have been lowered to half staff as the president and the nation mourn yet another unthinkable tragedy. Lester?
Kristen Welker. Kristen, thank you. In 60 seconds, more coverage of a tragic day in Texas. And also tonight, critical primary elections and a big test of Donald Trump.
So, people, low frequency language. Now, speaking of low frequency language, let's hear what they have to say about this Trump talk. Because in my opinion, when it comes to Donald Trump and the way they speak about him, this is also low level, socially engineered, low frequency language energy that people are speaking to each other, where they talk about President Trump like he's the Messiah. And even though it's primarily the Caucasian ethnicity here of the European American that lives here, there are people from other different ethnicities that do support this man as well, which is insane. But it's what goes on here in America. And that's why they're playing with this bullshit. So let's hear what they have to say about these test primaries.
Trump's power to sway voters. We'll look at a key race for Senate in Georgia and more. New projections just in tonight. We're watching critical primary elections tonight in 5 states, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, and Minnesota. And what is the biggest test yet of the power of Donald Trump's endorsements? 2 of the most closely watched contests are in Georgia, the Republican primary for governor and the Republican race for Secretary of State. And just in tonight, NBC News projects Brian Kemp has won the Republican nomination for governor. Blaine Alexander filed this report a short time ago.
It's primary day in the Peach State, already breaking records before the polls even opened, with early voting numbers higher than Georgia has ever seen in a primary. More than 850,000 ballots cast. But the focus, the races on the ballot, and one big name that's not former President Donald Trump, who, in the biggest test yet of his post-presidential political power, has pushed his chips in on 2 big races, governor and Secretary of State.
And let's bring this home.
His biggest target, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp.
Brian Kemp, he sold you out.
Trump blames Kemp for his 2020 election loss in Georgia. Now, Trump's handpicked challenger, former Senator David Perdue, is staking his campaign on the big lie.
The election in 2020 was rigged and stolen.
How key is Donald Trump's endorsement to your campaign?
Well, I think in Georgia, it's everything.
But it may not be enough. A recent poll shows Perdue down more than 30 points. And while his message resonates with some Georgia Republicans,
do you believe the 2020 election was stolen?
I know it was stolen.
For others, Trump's word is not enough to break ranks.
Did you support President Trump?
I did.
And does his criticism of the governor...
I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
On the Democratic side, no contest, with Stacey Abrams set to officially clinch her party's nomination tonight.
The campaign that I'm running from the day I launched is about One Georgia. It's about traveling the state, talking to Georgians.
In neighboring Alabama, where voters are also casting ballots today, the former president has withdrawn his endorsement of Congressman Mo Brooks for Senate, a staunch Trump supporter who appeared with him at the January 6th Stop the Steal rally. Brooks spoke with our Vaughn Hilliard.
Why did you go up in the polls?
Now, let me stop it there because enough of the mumbo jumbo. I just wanted to play that to see how they're associating everything with Trump's approval, blah, blah, blah. This is the primary test for Trump's power. We all know that politics is a bunch of bullshit, right? Obviously. But also keep in mind that I think that with everything that they're pushing for in regards to Agenda 21 and all of the chaos that the Biden administration has caused in such a short period of time, what a good distraction it would be to bring Trump back into the fold to see if he can gain another 4 years. And it leads for good theater, good entertainment, but it also can serve great purpose in their propaganda. What is going to happen? I'll be honest with you. I can't even speculate, nor do I really give a shit in the sense of either or happening, meaning he doesn't come back or he does. But what I will tell you is that all of this that is happening right now in these times of uncertainty for a lot of people is why it's so important to be spiritually sound. Because really, at the end of the day, that's all we have. Because everything is just an illusion here anyway. But the spirit is real. And when I see something like this being prepped, it's like, this is a good time to bring Donald Trump as a distraction, because bringing him into the fold, it would cause, boy, would it be interesting, man. It would be another shit show. And remember, they select who they want to win. So it's very easy to where they can make Donald Trump win and people are going to, have that Barack Obama effect where they're just going to want to sit back thinking, thinking everything's going to be taken care of now. So I know that's what would happen if Donald Trump became president again. A lot of the Caucasian Americans that live here in America especially would feel at ease, feel like things are going to improve from day one. I'm just shocked on how so many people are still so devoted into a system that has proven to be elementary in the way it functions and just really be a big show of deceit. And every person that is in these positions are all playing their part. They're all actors that wear suits and carry briefcases. So, brothers and sisters, let's take an intermission. I want to thank you for joining this live broadcast called Low Frequency Language. And all of this dialogue that is conducted here in America a lot of it is low frequency language. But I know that many of you are having high frequency conversations because you're thinking on the levels of a high frequency individual as a critical thinker. And forget about being three-dimensional. But shout outs to all my three-dimensional thinkers out there. But let's think fifth dimensional. Let's take it to the higher level because the world is vibrating on a higher level. But it's good to understand this low level frequency language because it is the language that is being spoken now more than ever in the United Serpents of America. And it's this very low frequency, low level language that is part of the norm when it comes to the 2/3 of society in this country we call USA. And a lot of it, I think, has been attributed to the level of entertainment that has dumbed people down. But enough of the smoke and mirrors media, but I'm glad we got to cover that. So let's take an intermission and we'll digest that for a second. and we'll be right back. This is the Network of Awareness, and I am your host, or the Informationalist, and I want to thank you for being here tonight for Wisdom Wednesdays. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
Tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
Now you see something. Now you see now. Now you see now. You done fucked up, man. You done fucked up, man. You done fucked up. I see it. I see it.
Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays and the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. Shout outs to my brother Lincoln. Shout outs to NYC, Boogie Down, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island. Shout outs to Strong Island, Long Island. And I can't forget Westchester County. Shout outs to Yonkers, Mount Vernon. Shout outs to Rockland County, Orange County. Shout outs to Poughkeepsie. Thanks for showing the love.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Now you're listening to the one and only Oxakai.
Hey yo, Robin.
I need my money right now. I don't care about that shit, but the hundreds give me power to change the world. I'm coming for the man's throne. We killing Mother Earth, yo, it ain't a fucking joke. Turn your TV off, read the book, stupid. Get your mind right, if we unite, we could do this. I was born to ride for the cause, wildin' out in my drawers, bad it, fuck the laws, they corrupt. I do my own dance, to my own drum, sing my own song. I ain't heard nothing real in so long. God soldier, yo, your time's over, mobbing with my posse, overthrow ya. Power to the people, love conquers all, kill what's evil.
It's like 1, 2, 3. I go by the name Death Free. Peace and love, that's how I rock. And you know that we won't stop. Why yo? 1, 2, 3. I'm for hope and equality. I can't believe that they done shot Nipsey. Too much violence, it must stop. Why yo?
No one's innocent, we all play a part. If we turn our heads, then we ain't pure of heart. Takes courage, baby, who's coming with me? Who's down to step up? Who's getting busy on the punk beats? Pick your fucking trash up. Ocean's dying, threw your damn cup out the window. Microplastics for the kiddo. More fire, more carbon. More liars in the government. Folks starving, folks tired. Who's riding?
It's like 1, 2, 3. I go by the name Death Free. Peace and love, that's how I rock. And you know that we won't stop. Why yo? 1, 2, 3. I'm for hope and equality. I can't believe that they done shot Nipsey. Too much violence, it must stop. Why yo?
We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love right now. Why yo? We gon' spread that
Peace and love, we gon' spread that. Peace and love, we gon' spread that. Peace and love right now. Why y'all?
Hey yo, spread it. All that hatred got to dead it. If we don't go together, then we gon' regret it. Headed towards freedom with no break, no exit. The man's time is over. You can say I said it. Spread it. All that bullshit got to stop it. Fighting against each other, yo, that's what he always wanted. Robbing for the guys, for my God. Get it on till I die. I'm a freedom ride. Change is gonna come.
We gon' spread that. Peace and love, we gon' spread that. Peace and love, we gon' spread that. Peace and love right now. Why y'all? We gon' spread that. Peace and love, we gon' spread that. Peace and
Happy Wisdom Wednesdays. Let's go.
I hardly ever say much, but they do whatever I say. Yeah. Every time I pull up in the driveway, she be like, oh my Yahweh. I hardly ever say much, but they do whatever I say. Every time I pull up in the driveway, she be like, oh my Yahweh, hopscotch on your planet. Why you all up in my space? I hardly ever say much, but they do whatever I say. Yeah. Every time I pull up in the driveway, she be like, oh my Yahweh, hopscotch on your planet. Why you all up in my space? All these battles that I face, which I go proceed at a high rate. I watch them migrate and hide, cause when I rap I really hydrate. Catch a wave while you thugging out, and God is a woman, she love me wow. Make you spark your inner Noah's Ark. I got a flow that will flood your house. Every day is celebration. She roll it up, no hesitation. Sativa, I got from Shiva. Guarantee infinite elevation. There is love in the air. Release the ether, watch it linger. Middle fingers in the air. If you got a middle finger, I have to let go of the past, cause I crave a better future. Now my homegirl got an ass, and she meditate like she Buddha. She got the sauce like picante. We got the sauce like BBQ. We got the sauce like tomatoes. Escape from hell like I'm Kratos. I hardly ever say much, but they do whatever I say. time I pull up in the driveway, she be like, oh my Yahweh, hopscotch on your planet. Why you all up in my space? All these battles that I face, she Fetty Wap, she come my way. She swerved for me on the highway. I'm higher than life and God's ways. I'm trying to live, you a zombie. I pay my bills like I'm Cosby. I grind, kick, flipping ollie. They witness how I be so gnarly. Back to the future like Marty. You're a slacker, McFly. My flow will approach your MK Ultra. I'm hacking your mind. Just let me be, or be left behind. Better climb your ladder. My flow antimatter. Vibrate through your spine.
Shout out to Oklahoma. Salute to brother Yazan.
I made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened. Then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away. Gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone mark. He said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're the dark oasis for countless cases. A peak of faithless, I'ma need the patience. Defeat them chases, we seek his graces. For true salvation, we keep on praising. We go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics. To build foundations, y'all defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose. To divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence. Their persistent act of defiance. Freely forming a righteous alliance. Truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance. Steady defeating the ignorant science. Sealy convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars that move in silence.
Let's talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power. Turning the people with credence to cowards. Seeking to seize believers with vows. Many even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose. To divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on. Long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on. The righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you give from it? I made mistakes on purpose. To divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
A new age has begun. An age of freedom. And oh no, the 300 Spartans gave their last breath to defend
has faded and darkness is abroad. The light is only dim because the darkness teaches us lessons that need to be learned in order for one to move forward. Embrace the darkness, for the darkness is your friend. So there is no end. It's only an illusion to what has been. Follow the light and let the spirit embark on a flight to a destination unknown, but to a place where love is the building blocks that call this place home. We are always accompanied on this journey, but still feel alone. It is never the same journey or experience that is ever shown. It is your imagination that awakens the passion that will weather the storm, because it is the pure compassion in the soul that is vigorous and strong. We're one with eternity, so let's be connected to the positive stream that allows us to fulfill our infinite destiny, most definitely. Let's strive to be the best people we can be with a power that is humanly new to see. So mistaken dismay can lead us astray, so let us stay, for it is our free will that allows us to make a choice. So I choose Yahweh with no delay.
Yeah. You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Every day I'm working, every day I'm praying, every day I'm grinding, chances that I'm taking, walking out on faith, yeah, fuck what they saying, cause we winning, oh man, here we go again, niggas mad again cause we changed, elevated, renovated the house within ourselves, kicked them out like Pam, slammed the door, never again let anybody in. Tryna rob me of my energy, call them out suddenly, losing memory. Hate it when you keep it real, know it's such a tough pill. Gotta deal, what's the deal? The world we living in is full of shit. Right there, can't even think, niggas weak, women street. Everybody envy, everything, all likes, all views, with no reality. Everybody fake, claiming they awake. When's the last time you prayed? Or helped somebody out when it wasn't for the clout? Yeah, I'll never make millions, my soul I'll never sell. To get it, I'll praise to Yah. Every single day I'm growing, hallelujah. Separate myself from them. No, I cannot quit. Yeah, I gotta win. Praise Yah till the end. I'ma keep on working. I'ma keep on grinding. Every day I'm working. Every day I'm praying. Every day I'm grinding. Chances that I'm taking. Walking out on faith, yeah. Fuck what they saying. Cause we winning. I'll praise to Yah. Every day I'm praying. I'll praise to Yah. Every single day I'm growing, hallelujah. Walking out on faith, yeah. I'll praise to Yah. I'll praise to Yah. Every single day I'm growing, hallelujah.
pray to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, here I am. Should I kick down the door? Or bust in the window? Or knock on the door? Or peep through the peephole? I finally don't made it inside. Finally, you probably wonder what I'm doing here. Looking for pieces from my past. Running y'all to find them. If I find them, I can put them together. I just want to take a seat and sit out instead of the puzzle. I just want to know what I did wrong. What I got to do to fix it and make it right. Cause right now I'm sitting in darkness. Praying y'all to beam the light down. On the location of the puzzle, on the area I need to visit next. Hey, I spotted me on Marcus. Let me write on the wall that I've been here. Know that I cried and reminisce on the bullshit that I did in my past. I was a dumbass. Straight from the gutter to the porch. While I jump off the porch, we getting ready. Running y'all to hold me steady. Wiping my last tear as I head out to my journey.
Open up, let me in, let me in. I'm looking for him that can change my life and clean all my sins. Clean all my sins. Not looking for Jesus, not looking for God, I'm looking for Yah. And I'ma keep getting louder, louder. Every time I knock. It's been a long journey. Had to walk it all solo. I'm trying to live forever, ever. Never yelled out YOLO. Never yelled out YOLO? No. Do you play both sides? No. Do you like to get high? No. Are you scared if you die? No. I've been through the fire, I'm tough enough for that spiritual armor. I done found a Messiah. Tell mama, my head's high, now I'm laughing when they try to bring the drama. Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, arms.
To my family, I'm honored to spit on this. You are in the splash zone, I don't need no helmet. This is special to me, metaphors crazy. About to butcher this beat, Micah Myers psycho. Never been unstable, I am very faithful to my sisters, to my brothers. Yes, we come from different mothers. Shout out to the Hebrews, the one who is righteous. The other knuckleheads need to drown in the ocean. Very fortunate that I found a real family, the ones you know your whole life. Turn on you swiftly, on and off like a light switch. Two personalities stay very far away. Real artists on here, we are here to stay.
Can't lie, yet here we are cause we love Yah. No moonlight in here, the grass ain't greener on the other side. We right where we need to be. Thank Father Elohim, he believes in me. Hands to the east, on my knees, can't achieve without the King of Kings. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to serve the Son and Father. I feel content. Thank you, Lord, for the wisdom and knowledge. Cause here I am, here we are, till the end, standing strong. Every day, heads up high to the sky, we battle on. The brass plate is strapped on, this is Babylon. No time for games, no time to play around. This ain't basketball, the path we're on is extra long. 1/3 is excellent. We keep the laws to the best of our ability with humility. Man, it's hard, but the euphoria keeps us pushing forward. Ain't no grumpy old troll put us down, not even COVID. No. Cause truth is a journey and it's a test of faith. A tough fight, yeah, but here we are. All praise Yahweh.
Yes. So, want to just break down some low frequency language, and then we're going to wrap things up for tonight's show. But brothers and sisters, we got some great things coming in the very near future with the Network of Awareness.tv. But also in regards to today's show, I want to say some last comments in regards to this, because some of you that listen to the show may be engaging in this low frequency language that many people are speaking in the world today. And this is the language where nothing comes out of it. A lot of it is trivial. A lot of it is lies. A lot of it is worldly things that are not topics of discussion that are going to serve some type of purpose that can benefit your life and those in the party of that discussion. And if you're somebody that is around people of this low frequency language that are speaking this low frequency language of energy, because right, they're vibrating on a lower level. They're vibrating on this worldly world status quo mentality of what is right and what is wrong and how that image should look. But those of us that know better, those of us that are awakened, those that keep on awakening and evolving within this truth, within their belief systems, and are getting closer and closer to what mankind has led astray and being more connected to the universe, we're not falling for this. But don't get it twisted. Either you or I, any one of us, can fall victim to this type of frequency depending on our spiritual and emotional stability. And the most important thing when it comes to emotions, it's not so much not to be emotional, but more importantly, when to get emotional and how to allow those emotions to affect the decisions that you make once the emotion passes. And I can tell you that it's not good to be impulsive with emotions, and it's not good to hold on to any negative emotions because it leads to more negative reactions. Think with a higher state of mind and don't be subjected to the low frequency language. Because I've said it before, a couple of weeks ago, I could have been a victim of this low frequency language. I was letting it pierce my righteous ears. But I took heed to the messages and to the energies that were brought to me by the Most High at the time that it was needed. And I listened. And I hope that many of you are listening to the message today to not be caught up in this low frequency energy, because we're going to see a lot of it this summer. We're going to see a lot of this language being spoken. A lot of people are going to want to get into things that are unbecoming of a human being. And you're going to have to make the decision to not go along with what everybody's going to tell you is fun, because fun can make you lose your life these days, because there ain't no place safe. So please, brothers and sisters, don't engage in no low frequency language. Don't have those types of discussions. Don't express that type of body language. Don't express it verbally. Don't be around it. Don't entertain it. Don't cater to it. Don't subscribe to it. Know nothing about it and be aware of it. So when it is around, you can avoid it at all costs by any means necessary. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in for tonight's show. I greatly do appreciate it. And we'll have another great show for tomorrow night, and we'll have a banger for Faith Over Fear Fridays. And this is just the beginning of season 4, which is the unconditional salvation. And last thing is that when you live in the present, people, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Don't allow low frequency language be part of your vernacular. All right? Because we're better than that. We're better than this low level shit that's been around, and it's now a lot of this low level shit that this country has always been a great representation of is coming to the surface, man. And it's something I'm so grateful for. The lies are coming to the surface. And it's something we got to give all praise to the Most High for. So brothers and sisters, as I always say, don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is all the information saying peace, love, and light, and barakatah. Forever favors, my brothers and sisters. We in this to the very end.